everyone, and welcome to Narcissu, or Narcissu. Narca what? Anyways, so this is a visual novel game, about this really sick girl and guy. So yeah, it looks great. The art is great, the story is great. I've heard really good stuff about this, so we'll be playing the first, because there's first and second side, so we're going to play the first. This one, right? Yes. Translation address. I'm gonna do unvoiced. I'm gonna test out my voicing.
Certainly, since I was a child, I wasn't on the healthy side.
But even so, I went to grade school normally. During summer vacation, I played until I was tanned very dark. June, soon after entering middle school. The day after, we ordered swimsuits for the swimming class that would start next month. That time was the first time I experienced being admitted into a hospital. Just a little before the first semester midterms, a day where the rain that started to fall felt awfully cold. In the midst of that pure white sky of the rainy season, in the beginning, everyone in the class came to visit me each day.
Aw, how sweet.
And when I was discharged from the hospital, during the weekends, they would come to my house to play. Oh, by the way, guys, warning, this is really kind of depressing, so if you get depressed easily, stop watching the video. But that was just the beginning. Fall came, winter left, hospitalized, discharge, outpatient care, and then starting again with hospitalization. Oh my. Classmates who once were called friends, at some point became acquaintances, and then turned to strangers. With each turning of the seasons, it seemed that I was disappearing from their memories.
It looks like it makes them uncomfortable. For those who live normally, my very existence. That's why I seem to have been erased.
That's sad.
Numerous seasons, white overcast skies, passed without even the need to exchange words with anyone. My English textbook from my first year midterm onwards remained brand new. It was there that my time seems to have stopped.
Stage Nana, Wall 24. 8 years later, 2004, early summer protagonist. Okay. Summer, flowing sweat. In the driver's license examination area, a large electronic bulletin board was installed. All at once, the lights came on, and like everyone else there, I searched to find my own number. 23, Scanning among the mostly lit light panel, I found my own examination number. The tracks beneath the train thudded rhythmically. Because it was just past midday, the train car was quite empty. And in that empty car, I was on the way home from the examination center. In my left hand was the traffic regularization manual I had just received. In my shirt pocket was the brand new license.
And this, I'm also normally licensed, eh?
I murmured somewhat seriously, but didn't feel any particular strong emotion. It's not like I wanted to drive cars, nor did I really have another purpose in mind. Oh wait, how old is she? It was just people around me were going to the train center, and had recommended that I at least get a driver's license. How old is she? She looks like, she looks 14 in that picture, right? Oh my gosh. That night, when I reported to my parents that I had gotten my license, "Is that so?" was the short reply. As an experiment, I tried saying that I wanted to borrow the car, and just as shortly came a "you can't." It wasn't like I had wanted to drive the car, but the responses were exactly as I had imagined. They were those sort of parents. The next day, upon waking up, my chest hurt, and so I was taken to the hospital. Normally, I had little to do with these involving sickness. That was why waiting in the initial waiting room felt extremely boring. I can imagine. Finally, just when I thought the examination was over, this time I went to take x-rays and blood tests, was made to go. On top of that, for a long time, I was made to wait in boredom. Without noticing, I had finished reading 3 books of Jump manga that was in the waiting room, and was reaching for a 4th. And just like that, I was made to do the paperwork for being admitted into the hospital. The brand new driver's license that still lay in my shirt pocket. It looked like the time for its debut was a ways off. Interesting so far. August 2014, autumn. Around when those very noisy Sisyphus had stopped crying. As usual, I was in the hospital. Of course, it wasn't like I was always admitted in the hospital. I would be in and out. Last month, I had my first experience with surgery. After being discharged, I commuted 5 minutes for outpatient care by scooter. And even from then on, admitted, discharged, outpatient care, gradually moving to become admitted again. I didn't know anything about PET or ERISA, but I noticed through the comings and goings that a number of months had passed. In exchange with my decreasing appetite, the types and amounts of drugs increased. Even I could see with my own eyes that my strength was declining. My legs felt a little bit thin, but
That's not your imagination.
the needle on the scale would tell me. And yet, I was looking at myself somehow objectively, as if watching a stranger, like looking at a single scene on television. The sudden things that happened to my body, my head couldn't keep up with them. The feeling that was happening was real, didn't arise. And so, even though it was supposed to be my own body, I could only watch myself from afar with cold eyes. Around when Christmas trees were disappearing from the streets, winter, perhaps it was due to it being the end of the year, but I was allowed to return home. In the end, it seemed to be only temporary, but even then, I was a bit happy. In a mix of rain and sleet, I returned home for the first time in a while. For some reason, my chicken, everyone in the family was gathered. Even though my parents normally didn't speak much, while being a bit stiff, they smiled at me. The little sister I always argued with made my favorite cream stew and fried shrimp. What is happening? We sat next to each other on the kotatsu. They peeled mandarins for me. They were excessively kind. That was the impression it left. During this time, I had just a bit of a realization still left in my pocket. That brand new license. Wow, also winner? That license, without giving rise to any practical value, might expire. While having stiff, unnatural smiles directed at me, calmly, vaguely, rather simply, I thought of that as if thinking of someone else. January 2005. Well, that was part of the intro. Yeah, we could keep going. The new year came and I returned again to the hospital. For some reason on the day I didn't go to the 4th floor, but instead to a conference room was made to go. There with my father and the doctor, I heard many things, was made to listen. It was that thing called notification, probably. They had an extremely indirect way of speaking, but in the end, it seems like I was going to die. I see. That was why I was only able to reply with that. I could find other words. From when I entered until I left the room, that was all that I said. Accepting my answer, the doctor moved the ballpen point in his hand. Well, I'm gonna have to end the episode here. It's getting depressing. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, type a comment, and press that sub button for more of these videos. Yaxi Cat, out!